The end of Boeing's 747 program took place in early 2023, with the very last jumbo jet going to Atlas Air in the form of a 747-8F. The last passenger 747 was actually delivered quite a few years prior in July 2017. Sure, no more brand new 747s are rolling off the production line anymore, but these jets are still quite active with a handful of operators around the world. So for today's video, let's take a look at the state of the Queen of the Skies in late 2024. Looking at data from planespotters.net, there are some 335 747s listed as still being active. We won't look at every single one, but we will examine the major passenger operators as well as other standout non-passenger airframes still flying. When it comes to passenger services, a handful of airlines continue to offer regular flights on board both 747-400 and 747-8 variants located in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. The first airline we'll look at is Air China. Though the airline's 747 fleet has dwindled in recent years, the Chinese flag carrier appears to have 9 airframes still in the fleet, 2 747-400s averaging 27 years in age, and 7 younger 747-8s. Some of these are currently listed as parked, but hopefully they'll return to the skies soon. There were 3 -400s in the fleet earlier this year, but one had its status changed to stored in September 2024. Next up is Korean Air. In a similar vein to Emirates' utilization of the Airbus A380 spacious cabins to appeal to the luxury traveller, Korean Air's 747-8s, fitted with premium interiors, roomy seats and its prestige class, appeal to higher-end travellers. The airline currently operates 7 747-8i passenger jets, as well as another 7-8 freighters. Further boosting its cargo operations are 4 -400 freighters. In May 2024, Korean Air made news for agreeing to sell 5 of its 747-8 passenger aircraft to American military contractor Sierra Nevada Corporation. The American company is tasked with providing the U.S. Air Force with the future fleet of doomsday planes, technically referred to as Survivable Airborne Operations Centers. Currently filling this role for the U.S. Air Force are 4 E-4B aircraft, militarized versions of the Boeing 747-200. 2 -8Is have already been removed from the Korean fleet and have gone to Sierra Nevada Corp. Thus, we'll see another 3 leaving the airline's fleet in the near future. While we're still in the country of South Korea, it's notable that Asiana Airlines recently ended 747 operations, having retired its final passenger 747-400 in early 2024. At about 25 years old, the -400 registered Hotel Lima 7428 was withdrawn from service in March and then sat in storage for several months before being ferried to San Bernardino in the United States. The jet was promptly scrapped in July. Asiana does still operate the 747 for its cargo operations with a decently sized fleet of 12 -400 freighters. Moving over to Europe is German carrier Lufthansa. Holding the unique distinction of being the world's largest passenger 747 operator, Lufthansa keeps a fleet of 27 airframes, 8 747-400s and 19 -8s. While the newest -8s are set for a relatively long life with Lufthansa as a workhorse on their high-demand long-haul routes, the next year or so may be the end in terms of operations for its 747-400s. Averaging around 24 years old, the quad-jets have already been excluded from Lufthansa's Allegris cabin update and appear to be eyed for retirement in late 2025. Of course, with continued delivery delays of new aircraft, there's also a strong possibility retirement will be pushed a little further back. But until then, Lufthansa's 747s are based out of Frankfurt and operate on an array of routes into Asia, North America, and South America. Interestingly, Russian carrier Rossiya, a member of the Aeroflot group, is also continuing to operate passenger 747s. The carrier appears to have a total of 5 747-400s, with 2 listed as being in service and the other 3 listed as parked. The two active aircraft appear to be primarily flying out of Moscow to destinations like Sochi, Khabarovsk, and Vladivostok, although flights appear to be limited to a few times per month. Earlier this year, Saudi Arabian operator Saudia was operating a few 747-400s. Although Saudia technically no longer owns any 747 airframes, the airline had a wet lease agreement with Air Atlanta Europe Malta, which saw the airline operate a small fleet of two -400s. The jets were used for Muslim pilgrimage flights deployed regularly on routes from Jeddah and Medina. The aircraft were returned to Air Atlanta Europe in September 2024. Outside of passenger flights, Saudia does still operate four 747-400 freighters under a lease agreement with Air Atlanta Europe. We almost forgot that Iranian operator Mahan Air is listed as having two Boeing 747-400s. Apart from passenger airlines, the 747 is very active as a freighter. Here is a list of major freight operators still flying these jumbo jets. Atlas Air's 747 operations are massive. The airline has a total of 61 jumbo jets, 48 -400s and 13 -8s. UPS has 43, 13 -400 freighters and 30 -8 freighters. Cargo Lux has 29, comprised of 15 -400s and 14 -8s. Kalita Air has a fleet of 22, all -400 freighters, and Cathay Pacific has 20 jumbo freighters, 6 -400s and 14 -8s. And then it's notable that many governments still use the 747 as executive VIP transports. This includes, but is not limited to, the governments of Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Egypt is due to replace its government A340 with a modified 747-8, but Planespotters.net lists the jet as still being in Hamburg, likely still undergoing work with Lufthansa Technik. And finally, we couldn't discuss active Boeing 747s without mentioning the two Air Force One jets flying as presidential transports in the United States. As many will already know, these aging aircraft are modified 747-200s slated for retirement. Doing our best to stay out of politics here, the aircraft are still due to be replaced by modified 747-8s. As per a July 2024 report from Reuters, the head of Boeing's defense unit said the company has been quote-unquote fighting through challenges in building the two delayed US presidential aircraft. Challenges cited include issues with supply chain, inflation, workforce, and other challenges. The company has lost more than $2 billion on the program, but the Boeing representative told the media, "Our team is fighting through a very, very challenging program, two very complex airplanes. We've done a ton of investment in our workforce and training, efficiency, work on the factory floor." In 2023, the Biden administration opted to modify but continue with an Air Force One paint scheme that closely resembles the current light blue livery. At the time of making this video, with Donald Trump set to take office in 2025, it seems like a fairly sure bet that the livery will be changed once again to what he had proposed during his first term in office, which features a darker blue for the belly and a red cheat line running the length of the aircraft. So, what do you think of the state of the Boeing 747 in late 2024? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.